Okay, these are some things that we have talked about wind power generation. Now let us talk about the next thing, that is geothermal power. What do you mean by geothermal power? There are various theories present for which our earth has got existed. One theory says that the earth is a particle that came out from sun, and over a years of time the earth's crust, it became cool, whereas the internal portion of the earth is still hot, because of which in some places we have got steam coming up from the earth's surface. This steam can be made use of for generation of electrical energy. Let us see geothermal power. The steam is collected into the steam well, which has the steam has got the excess materials as well, which can be removed with help of a steam drum, wherein which all the moisture as well as some particles can be removed. The steam is led out into the turbine. From the turbine the mechanical energy is generated, and we can have the electrical energy generated with the help of a generator. So, this by this process we will be able to utilize the steam directly, that is we are not using any fuels, isn't it, any fuels for generation of steam. The steam that is coming out, we are making use of it. We have got various applications for which, if you observe over the slide, we have got the earth's crust, we have got this is the upper surface, we have got various other things that are the steam that is coming out. Now, in addition to this, in addition to the generation of electrical energy, the geothermal power can be used for various other applications, like for drying of the fields, can be used for drying of the fields, geothermal applications for greenhouse applications. This is an example at which Argentina, and geothermal applications for aquaculture, geothermal industrial applications, that is take the case of any textile industries for dyeing and all, for heat is required, that can be made used. And we have got the space heating, the hot steam is sent through this cold air and we have got warm air coming out. These are the various applications for space heating. And next being for power generation, mini grid power generation, as well as we can have for grid based power generation. These are the various ways in which we can utilize the geothermal energy. Now, look over the slide and tell me what is that I am referring to. The movements of sea could be huge source of energy. What am I referring to? Yes, I am referring to the tidal generation, utilization of tidal power. The tidal power, tides are generated or produced because of the attraction of the moon onto the sea water, because of which we have got either high or low tides. When the high tide or low tide, water level rises at one of the basins, this water level, this difference causes the water to flow from one basin to the other basin. In this flow we can keep a turbine in between. When the water flows, the turbine rotates and we have got a generator coupled to the turbine, thereby electrical energy is generated. In a low tide, this side gets high and this side is low and the water flow from this direction. In both the cases, the turbine will rotate in only one direction. Okay. So, this can be used for generation of electrical energy. The only disadvantage being that it is not that much consistent for generation. We have got one photograph of a tidal power station in France. This is the basin we have got. Okay. Now, let us talk more about the coming up technologies that we have got, and MCT turbines. If we look over here, we have got tower, we have got the rotor blades. So, the flow of water, it causes this rotors to rotate. This rotation can be used for generation. This is a one, we can have a set of such towers. If you observe over here, here the blades are brought up for the maintenance purpose. Okay. So, this is about the tidal power that we are talking about. MCT means marine current turbines. Okay. Now, let us talk about the next aspect, that is the wave power. When the wave is allowed to flow into a cavity, it causes the air to be either pushed or to be sucked. This can be used for generation of electrical energy. Consider the case over here. Here we are considering the wave. When this wave comes, the air that is present in this column, it is pushed, which pushes this lever, flows through the turbine and goes into the atmosphere. Okay. Let us see, when the air is pushed, the air is flows, and this is how it goes away, right. This is one way. Now, the other thing is, when it pulls back, when the wave pulls back, then it sucks the air from the atmosphere. That is, when the wave pulls back, it sucks the air, it pulls the air from the atmosphere into the turbine, and then over here sucks. This is how the generation takes place. This keeps on rotating in one direction, the flow is maintained in one direction. So, this is one method of generation of electrical energy. Now, we have got another method for generation of electrical energy, that is MHD, magnetohydrodynamics. We know for generation of electrical energy, we require field, we require conductor, as well as we require motion. But here in MHD, instead of using a conductor, we will use a gas which acts as a conductor. That gas can be a sodium, liquid sodium, or a liquid potassium. This is made to flow through a chamber, and when this is subjected to a magnetic field, an EMF is generated. So, here we have got an arrangement, this is a diverging section. So, when the magnetic field is applied and the gas is made to flow, then because of which an EMF is generated, this can be made used for generation. And as we see, the generation is of the DC nature. Okay, the generation is of DC nature. This is the flow that we get. This is how we will be able to generate electrical energy from magnetohydrodynamics. Now, let us talk about the next type of generation, that is thermal EMF, or by using thermoelectrical energy. For generation of thermo EMF, we require two different metals which have to be joined on both the ends. One end is kept at a hot place, which is called as a hot junction. The other end is kept at a cold place, which is called as a cold junction. When there is a temperature difference between these two, an EMF is generated. That EMF is called as a thermo EMF, because of which an flow of electrons is made through the circuit. This can be used. Let us observe over here. In thermal EMF, we have two different metals, one junction being the hot junction, the other being the cold junction. So, when the difference of temperature exists between these two, an EMF is generated. That EMF can be used for generation of electrical energy. So, if you see, if you place a galvanometer in between, when the electron flows, it moves the pointer indicating the flow of electricity.